Let's get more now on our top story this news hour and the latest move by the U.S. to pressure the Palestinians to engage in peace negotiations with Israel. The latest development is that the PLO's diplomatic office in Washington, D.C. will be closed. Now, the Palestinian leadership stopped talking to the Trump administration back in May when it moved the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. That is the U.S., of course. Palestinians see occupied East Jerusalem as the capital of their future state. And then Washington cut funding to the UN agency supporting Palestinian refugees. UNRWA provides healthcare, education and food to more than 5 million people. Also in August, the U.S. axed $200 million in aid to Gaza and the West Bank. And then on Saturday, the U.S. announced it would freeze $25 million in funding for hospitals that mainly care for Palestinian patients. Well, very pleased to welcome Hussam Zomlot now to the News Hour. He's the head of the Palestine Liberation Organization delegation to the U.S. He's live from Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Thank you so much for being with us. Palestinian pressure in trying to bring Israel to the International Criminal Court is also believed to be the reason for the closure of your mission in Ramallah. Will this latest move by Washington and the growing pressure from the Americans on the ICC itself force you to reconsider your position?
Of course not. If we would reconsider our position, none of these acts and decisions you've just mentioned the U.S. administration would have taken. All this is a reflection of our very firm position. By the way, this reckless and dangerous decision to close the Palestinian diplomatic mission is very unsurprising to us. We did expect it simply because we were given a choice. Either we protect our relationship with this administration or protect our rights and defend our rights, and we definitely opted for the second. The relationship with this administration is way less important for us than protecting our rights, standing for our cause and our people, refusing to cooperate with all these attempts to liquidate our issue and to redefine the Palestinian cause and to challenge international legitimacy, international consensus, as we just heard from Mr. Bolton only a few minutes ago when he said housing units about the illegal colonial settlements. So this attempt we will not, of course, cooperate with. That's why the U.S. State Department and White House statement said that we did not cooperate. Yes, we will not cooperate, and we did choose Jerusalem and the rights of our refugees and our rights for independence over the relationship with this administration.
I want to talk to you about the Palestinian moves at the ICC. How confident are you and our Palestinian leaders about the court, the ICC, taking on the Israel-Palestine issue when it's under so much pressure itself? It's been threatened with sanctions by the Trump administration. Can you go ahead with this move to the ICC?
Well, I think we Palestinians have passed the test of being immune to the U.S. administration bully, blackmail and pressure all through the last year. And that now it's up to the international community to answer your question. Are they going to stand up for their mandate, for their responsibility to bring accountability to states that commit war crimes and crimes against humanity, as Israel does on a daily basis here in the occupied Palestinian territories and against the Palestinian people? So frankly, the test is for the international system, for the international legality, and for our common sense. And therefore, we have done our share, our responsibility of referring Israel officially to the ICC. But the map is very clear for us. This onslaught against us is also an onslaught against the international community and international system. And we find ourselves having to actually protect both our rights and the international system.
Mr. Zomlot, can I ask you, as we've mentioned, there have been funding cuts to the Palestinian Authority, cuts to Palestinian hospitals in occupied East Jerusalem, and cuts to the UN organization that aids Palestinian refugees. This is going to lead to more poverty for Palestinians, also more anger, and not just directed towards Israel and the U.S., but also towards the Palestinian leadership. More and more Palestinians that we speak to say they've lost faith in their leadership. Is it worth going through this process at the ICC, which is going to make life even more unbearable for many Palestinians because there will be consequences, as you know?
Our mission in DC or our use of the ICC or all that are just tools. They are means. The goal is our liberation, is the end of this illegal occupation, is building our own state. is having our own destiny, and we don't lose sight who is the enemy here. And therefore, our economic situation and humanitarian situation is not bad because we lack resources. We have one of the most rich resources, historic resources, or lacking of human capital. We have one of the most sophisticated, educated population and nation. Our situation is political, and therefore, yes, our going to the ICC comes before this financial blackmail. We are not a nation of beggars, my friend. We are a nation of freedom fighters, and we are a nation that demand righteous rights and legitimate rights. And therefore, yes, the ICC is important and crucial, and we will not allow this mindset and logic in the White House that we should accept handouts and leftovers to persuade us from going to the ICC and from continuing our struggle to end this occupation and to end all the illegalities and the denial of our basic human and national rights.
Allow me one last question, Mr. Zomlot, if I can. There's been a lot of talk about an impending peace plan by the Americans, the so-called deal of the century. What would it take to get the Palestinians on board?
Well, we have not received anything like a peace plan or ideas, nothing. All what we have been receiving over the last so many months are actions, steps, decisions that are all identical with an Israeli wish list that was submitted by the Israeli government to the American administration. That wish list is primarily to liquidate the Palestinian issue, redefine the framework for the Palestinian rights as has been known internationally for decades, and actually undermine any possibility for a future peace. This administration is not about peace, it's about coercion, it's about blackmail and bully, and therefore what peace are they talking about? The US has absolutely, this administration has lost its status as a peacemaker, and that's why we will do the following. Number one, we will continue our efforts to bring about a multilateral forum to end this conflict. So the world has to foot its responsibility and fill this deafening vacuum by the US administration. Number two, our issue is not with the American people, not with the US. Our issue is with Trump and his team, and therefore we will double our efforts to outreach and engage the American people, especially in light of what we see of transformational change in the US and the awareness of the American public about the Palestinian rights and the violations of the State of Israel as an occupying power. Thirdly, the panic in Israel about the ICC and the pressuring of Israel, of the US administration to aggressively attack the ICC only indicate for us that we are on the right track. And yes, the ICC is ineffective, and it is up to the ICC and the international system to give the Palestinians what they deserve. It is our right and responsibility to use these international organs, and we promise you, we will use them at full.
Thank you for taking the time to speak to us. Hussam Zomlot is the head of the Palestine Liberation Organization delegation to the US. He was joining us from Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Thank you for your time.